Well, good afternoon to you and the viewers at home. We're still coming to you live from the Constitutional Court, which is hearing, among other things, a leave to appeal application against the Western Cape High Court judgment that vindicated Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane from being suspended as the public protector. We've heard quite a numerous number of arguments from the Democratic Alliance as well as the President. I do want to bring in Advocate Mkhwebane now to respond to some of the arguments and submissions that were weighed in the Apex Court this morning. Advocate Mkhwebane, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start first with the question of bias that was raised by counsel on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, arguing that there wasn't any remote bias in the decision-making process, that you need to look at the incident or the incidents that led up to the 9th of June, your suspension, not in isolation, but according to an entire timeline, apologies, that started in March. What is your response to that submission?
I would say we will respond after the break. My counsel will present our side of the story, and we will rebut that. It's for the courts as well to decide. All what he said was presented to the Western Cape High Court, and the Western Cape High Court found in my favor, and indicating that my suspension especially was triggered by the investigation of Phala Phala. Mm-hmm. The President was biased. The President was having ulterior motives that was unlawful. So as well it was as if it's vindictive. So that's why the DA couldn't wait, appealed the same day. So we were wondering why, because they had 15 days to do that. But today I heard that they don't want me near that office. And I think for them, they just think I will be doing Phala Phala. But my intention is to continue protecting the public and to continue serving, to continue, earning what I'm being paid to do. So I would say then, indeed, there is various issues of bias. I mean, the President once acknowledged himself in his affidavit that he is conflicted. It was relating to the Busasa matter, and he will delegate that to somebody else to do that. And I mean, there are current investigations which were ongoing, and there's precedents to that. I mean, the Pretoria High Court, Judge Mlambo, sitting a full bench in the state capture matter, said the former president was conflicted, so would not appoint the judge who will chair the commission of inquiry, especially the state capture commission. So there is indeed existing precedents on all these matters.
And how do you respond to the claim that your return to office would affect the credibility of the Chapter 9 institution as a whole, not only just the Phala Phala matter, but the Chapter 9 institution as a whole?
It's laughable, actually, coming from the DA. And after having finalized more than 60,000 complaints, having gotten 3 clean audits under my leadership, first time in 25 years. In fact, the first one was 25 years, 26 years, 27 years in existence of that office. So now it's also very interesting, or as well, for the public to see for themselves the kind of DA and what their intentions are. Because you could hear they were arguing for the President instead of arguing their matter as DA. What is their standpoint on the constitutional institution? They are the ones who should be holding the executive to account, especially members of parliament, DA being one of them. And a number of complaints were lodged by the DA under the Executive Members Ethics Act. Now, interestingly, I will be bringing the office into disrepute. I mean, it's laughable, actually, I would say that, and it's very concerning. And I think they are exposing themselves what they are meant for. They are not for the poor and the marginalized. They just want to maintain the status quo so that whoever has money can continue to do as they wish and as they please.
And lastly, to what end? You've been in courts consistently. There was that point that was raised as to whether the president would even be able to, in the alternative remedy, delegate powers to another individual to deal with that issue. I mean, to what end does this matter come to a close? And do you foresee a future where you are able to return to the offices of the Chapter 9 institution?
This is the final court. Apex Court is for them to decide. We will hear what they are saying as well. Remember, they need to apply the Constitution, and their decision is final. Well, if they decide the way they would be deciding, it will be fine. But the fact of the matter is, I'm doing this for even future public protectors, future heads of Chapter 9 institutions, future generations to come. And the courts are there to make sure that there's justice and righteousness. They need to know that history has no blank pages. Whatever decision they make will come back and either haunt or they will be held as heroes because they made sure that they implement the Constitution for the benefit of the public.
All right, thank you so much. That was suspended public protector, advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, just sharing her thoughts on some of the submissions by the Democratic Alliance.